So I'm having a think about communication today and thinking about how we communicate in our relationships and how that can be that can work really well sometimes and how sometimes it can work really badly, and where we learn those communication techniques from, the good and the bad, and what we bring into our relationships and how we manage. How we manage conflict, but how we just manage like day to day life, really. And I've got various couples that I'm working with at the moment. If I'm not working with couples, if it's not the couple, then I'm working with an individual on a relationship issue. And it always surprises me how something that on one hand could be seen as so simple as communication is so often done so badly. And that's not badly as in like a criticism. That's not like, because it's easy to get wrong. But we bring so many stories along with us so often. I mean, how we communicate, whether or not we communicate effectively or not, starts many, many years ago. It starts at how we witness communication within our family, how we were communicated with, how we have learnt to communicate with our peers at school and within our family unit growing up, and in our early relationships and in our friendships and within a family context or a work environment. And these incremental experiences that we have all form how we communicate now as adults. And communication is something that we can so easily take for granted and yet so easily get wrong. And as I say, I'm working with lots of couples at the moment, or be that as a couple or with women working on couple relationships. And everything ultimately comes back down to communication, and it's so important to get it right, but it's so important, in order to get it right, to acknowledge when it's not working how it needs to be working. And that's the really difficult part. It's being able to know when it's going wrong, and to be able to acknowledge that and communicate that, which is the bit that's really difficult. Because when we're talking about stuff that is difficult or highly charged, it's hard. It's hard to have those difficult conversations. It's hard to have those emotions that come up when you are having a difficult conversation. And this comes up time and time again in my work. It's easy to be a good communicator on the surface. It's easy to be sociable. It's easy, well, for a lot of people, for me, it's easy to be sociable. It's easy to be chatty. It's easy to, talk to anybody. But having difficult conversations, it is, for some people, really hard. And, I'm never... I'm never complacent in how many different couples I work with in really good professional jobs that in their own relationship find it so difficult to either communicate with each other or just communicate in general, because they ultimately find it too painful and just shut down. And that is the reality, and that's something that I feel very strongly about, because that's something that I've worked so incredibly hard to overcome myself over the years. Somebody who was a terrible communicator when it came to emotional stuff. I've always been like confident and chatty and what have you, but being able to tap in and overcome the emotions to be able to have difficult conversations is really hard. And that's why I love being able to work with couples to overcome it now, because it's so important. And some people find it really difficult because they don't like the feelings, the overwhelm of feelings that comes up for them. Some people just don't like conflict, and don't like to upset other people, don't want to feel upset themselves. Some people just actually don't have the words to be able to put with the emotions to get it out in the right time. So it is really, really, really difficult. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking back, I've got about 4 couples that I'm working with at the moment where communication, is a big thing, but there's always a story there. And that's the really interesting part, is that once you help to uncover that story and you help to identify what are the difficulties in verbalizing the frustrations or the sadness or the whatever the issue that it is at the moment, then it becomes a lot easier to talk about. So yeah, that's just my thought for the day, really. Communication is something that we can all take for granted, and yet so often get so very, very, very wrong. Anyway, if you've got any problems communicating in your relationship, or you would like to talk to me about any other work that I do, please do get in touch. Send me a private message, and I'll be happy to have a chat with you. Okay, bye.